Now, when we read the Gospels, we can see for ourselves that Jesus had spoken beforehand of his sufferings, death, and resurrection. It would be logical to assume then that his own disciples would have been expecting those things. However, clearly they didn't. They were completely caught off guard by his death. So in Luke, we read that when he first appeared, they thought he was a ghost. After convincing them otherwise by showing them his wounds, he then gave them a brief history lesson of how the Old Testament foretold his sufferings, death, and resurrection. So the question is, how did they not know? It wasn't as though Jesus had never told them beforehand, and all Jewish males were raised to know the Scriptures well. Basically, it comes down to what we still do today. Pick out verses we like and ignore those we don't like. You see, in the Old Testament, there were passages which spoke of a future Messiah. Now, some used the metaphor of a warrior king who would vanquish Israel's enemies. However, there were others which spoke of a suffering Messiah who would be rejected and despised. So, flash forward to the disciples' day. Israel was under the brutal foreign occupation by the Romans. Which Messiah would you have wanted? Now, in all fairness, the idea that the coming Messiah would deliver Israel from the Romans had become an established cultural belief. It was what the disciples had been taught since their youth. And we can make the same mistake about Jesus today. Many years ago, I met a South African man who previously had a TV ministry in South Africa. While his ministry stayed true to the gospel and faithfully preached the teachings of Jesus, it had to shut down due to lack of financial support. However, another TV ministry thrived and stayed on the air. They preached the prosperity gospel. Come to Jesus, and he will make you healthy and wealthy. So, you see, my friends, even today there persists two conflicting views of Jesus. Which Jesus do you worship?